pro wrestling fans, and we are the degenerates that like to talk about it. This is Kicking Out of Two. I am Michael. With me, as always, is Tori. Hey, Tori.
Good evening.
Today we are going to talk about what just happened, Friday Night Smackdown. That's the go home episode for the Royal Rumble. So we are recording this late at night, unlike we normally
Literally
do.
30 minutes ago it ended.
Yeah, just so we get this out there early, since the pay-per-view is tomorrow. Um, Kind of a lackluster show. We talked about it a little bit before we started recording. I think a lot of it has to do that they kind of tied themselves into this tag team storyline. And if they would have just started that a few weeks ahead of time, so it would be ending now, they'd have more time for stuff. But it seems like the whole thing was kind of wrapped up in that, Charlotte, and then we finally got the Kevin Owens versus Solo at the end of it. But it just kind of seemed like it was all tied into the tag team stuff.
I
And
agree. I don't understand the timing of this tournament. Why didn't you start it after the Rumble?
yeah, or start it with less people, like just
Yeah,
yeah.
4 teams.
Kevin Owens takes on the Bloodline solo. Sikoa tonight takes on the Enforcer. He is asked in an interview a little bit later of like why he's doing this so close to Royal Rumble, and he was like, "It's honestly because I plan on being the champion." The last time he got screwed because of
Solo.
shenanigans. And
Back in
so,
September, he got screwed by Solo.
yeah, so he's like, I'm gonna take care of this. So it's nice to see him go ahead and do that. We also have the tag team title contenders tournament that continues on. We have Karen Cross going one-on-one with Rey Mysterio. And then a couple of other matches too that we'll get into. We start with the Usos and Solo Sikoa arriving in the parking lot. As Jay's grabbing his bag, Sami Zayn approaches wearing a hoodie. Jay told him he couldn't be there because of what Roman said. Roman said, I don't want to see you. I don't want you anywhere on the TV or near the bloodline. I don't want to see you until Saturday. Zayn knows and just wanted to thank Jay for defending him. He promised to help Jay in any way he could. Zayn put the hood back on and left. Zayn got a massive pop for the brief appearance, though. The crowd went absolutely insane for it.
He may be one of the most over guys they have right now.
I think he certainly is. You know, we're gonna do a video where we do predictions and thoughts on the Rumble coming up, and that's one of those things. It's like I have my pick for who's gonna win the Rumble, but it would be really hard to say that Sami doesn't win if he's in.
Well, and I wouldn't be mad if Sami won. It would make sense.
Yeah, because it just sets up the story so perfectly.
Depending on when the men's Rumble is and what happens leading up to it. If it's the main event, is the men's Rumble, and what happens leading up to it could make even more sense.
Yeah, absolutely could. We start out the night as far as action with Rey Mysterio going against Karrion Kross. It was about a 7 minute, match. Kind of hope it was 7 seconds, but anyway. Kross took over the impact on it, hit a Northern Line suplex. Kross rolled through, but Rey Mysterio reversed it into a crucifix for the win. So sneaky quick pin for Rey.
Why?
I don't.
You said Rey Mysterio, and I stopped paying attention. Then I came back to figure out what you were talking about.
I don't like this feud at all. I
don't like the feud, and this booking makes no sense either. Why did you bring Karrion Kross back to make him look like a chump in every feud he's had?
Mm-hmm. I don't disagree. Well, and it didn't help though that they started off with there not being really a singular feud or a singular thought. Like he came back and it was like, oh, he's going to immediately go after Roman because that's when he came out. And it's like, oh no, wait a minute, no, he's feuding with Drew. Oh wait, he's feuding with both. Oh, now he's feuding with Rey. What the? What's going on? It's a very interesting thought of how they're booking him. Like I don't think that they've really caught exactly what he needs to do yet. I mean, honestly, like as much as I hated it before, I kind of like it now. I think they just need to pivot and go ahead and put Bray back on Raw or put Judgment Day on SmackDown and just continue the him and Dominic thing. Because at least that makes sense and it was entertaining with the stuff they're doing behind the scenes.
Dom and Ray being in the Rumble, there's going to be some interaction.
Mm-hmm.
My prediction: Dom throws Ray out.
Mm-hmm.
Something they interact or something because Ray said he won't fight Dom, but I think Dom's going to push him to the point where he doesn't have a choice.
Yeah. I would kind of like to see, again, though, it would involve them starting that back up and putting that kind of at the
Right.
forefront of what's going to happen with Dominic, is have Ray throw Dominic out. And then the
Yeah.
next person that comes out is one of the Judgment Day, whether it's Damien or whoever, and they just beat the dog piss out of Ray and then toss him out.
Or Dom gets back in and throws him out.
Or both.
Because it's happened.
Yeah.
Or he's teetering and Dom is on the floor and just pulls him out. But I don't understand what they're doing with Karrion Kross. I don't get it. It makes no sense. None whatsoever.
Yeah, it's a very weird pairing. It's a weird feud. I don't even really at this. I still don't understand the direction of why he's feuding with Ray. I don't understand what the beef is.
That's been the problem, but that's just it. What was his beef with Roman, other than the title? What was his beef with Drew?
Mm-hmm. Well, and that was the
What's his
thing. If he
beef
would have
with the
came out,
comb?
if he would have came
His
out,
hair is terrible.
if he would have came straight out and fought Roman, that at least makes
It would
sense
have
to
made
me.
sense. Right. Nothing else he's done has made any sense. And he still hasn't had a title shot.
Yeah. Well, and it's like his beef with Drew was like, you were the chosen one. Dude, that was 15 years ago?
Right. And Drew's made a point since he came back of saying that's not who I am anymore.
Yeah. So, I mean, it's,
So,
blaming the fact that he got fired on the fact that Drew was the chosen one 15 years ago, that doesn't make a lot of sense.
like I said, I feel like Karrion Kross has been kind of lost in the mix.
Mm-hmm.
Send him back to NXT.
Yeah.
Put
I
him
can
and
see that.
Scarlett back down there. Let her get some work in with the ladies. Like, do something that makes sense.
Yep. Oh yeah, and then he had the feud with Ross with the or Madcap.
Oh, that lasted like 3 seconds.
Yep. They had one match that Scarlett got a part of, and then we're done.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It just, what are we doing with this guy? Like, you brought him back, which was great, but you've done nothing with him. Why did you bring him back?
Yep. Well, I don't know what they're doing with him, but I do know what I'm doing. That's moving on to the Austin Theory segment. Typical segment for a heel champ. He comes out there. You caught something I didn't. The fact that he said the champ is here, looking at the title. But he's talking about how U.S. title and he's turning his attention now to the Royal Rumble. To my surprise and my adulation, New Day came out. I was really glad they came out. Mainly because I thought I was going to get a match between like one of them and Austin Theory, and that would have been fun to me.
Right.
But they dog him for coming out there and like, hey, I know you're from Raw, and like you have a lot of time to fill, so you usually get to go out there and smack your gums. But we're an efficient show, and we don't waste time here.
That was so good.
Yeah, and so Kofi and Woods promised to win the Rumble, so Woods is also apparently declared. I don't know where his match was for him to qualify, but apparently he's in it too.
He didn't need it.
At that point, though, Austin says he's the greatest superstar in history, in which case, cue The Miz, because Miz is the greatest in history, apparently. Miz mocked Theory and promised to win the Rumble as well. Miz and Theory suddenly attacked the New Day when Bobby Lashley's music hit to a giant pop, and Lashley ran down and just cleared the ring. He got on the mic and he said that he's here and he's going to take it out on everybody in the Rumble for what happened on Monday. And then Lashley comes out, hits him with an F5. And so Lesnar then also announced that he's going to be in the Rumble. So, good Lord.
Yeah.
Michael
Rumble's
Cole
looking
did
pretty
speculate
stacked just from the people they've announced.
Yeah. Michael Cole did speculate that Lesnar, if he does win, could tie Stone Cold's record.
Because it'd be his third one.
It'd be his third one of winning it. So interesting. I really hate the numbers thing that they do for the Royal Rumble. They had one of those promos tonight, and I immediately just kind of muted it and walked away for a little while. Because I hate those type of things. Like I like the fact, like this was a perfect time to bring it up of saying, hey, if he wins, that ties Stone Cold.
I will say this is the first time I've seen that in the build up to this Rumble.
Yeah.
Now, they'll play it 97 times tomorrow before the Rumble.
Yeah.
Like, I'm going to turn on the radio and hear that shit.
Yep.
But I'm okay with the fact that this is the first time in the entire build up to this Rumble that we've done by the numbers. We all know those things. Like,
yeah, we don't need a reminder every year, every 10 minutes that, someone lasted less than 2 seconds in the Rumble.
Austin won 3. Santino lasted 4/10 of a second. Shawn, Hacksaw was the first. The number 27 is the best spot. Like, I can do most of those from memory just because I know them.
Yeah.
Stop it. Ray lasted 62 minutes and 16 seconds. Yeah. Like,
I do find, so in one of the things that they were promoting, they didn't talk about Bryan Danielson's record. But they did talk about Braun's. So here's my problem with that. I understand taking Bryan's out, not because he's in AEW, but because it was the grandest Royal Rumble, greatest whatever it was.
The greatest Royal Rumble.
Which had 40 participants in it. So of course you're going to last longer.
Yeah. Because the match is going to go longer.
Right. So that makes perfect sense. Take that out because it's an unfair record to have.
Right. But then use it to say Braun won that one.
Well, and not that he won, that he had the most. He had the most eliminations. And again,
he had 40 people.
You had 40 people, so you have more of a chance to throw out more people. So I don't think that one should go either.
The best thing about the whole thing, though, is Titus.
Yeah. Titus World Slide.
I feel so bad for that guy because he's never getting away from that.
No.
But that's still hilarious.
And let's be clear, that's probably why he's not on TV. We'll just keep him in the back doing all that stuff because he's never getting away from World Slide. That's
no, not at all. Not happening.
Now, what I think he should do is he should be the promotion for Slip and Slide. I think that would be perfect for him.
Get out.
I'd buy one.
Get out.
on the end of it, there's an arc, and it's just him doing this, or this thing. Anyway, I'm wasting time at this point because I don't want to talk about this next thing. But then we had Lacey Evans versus Jasmine Allure. It was a squash match. I don't care.
No, hang on. The best part of the match was the sole of Lacey's boot coming off.
Yes, which is kind of why I don't care. So, like, I don't care anyway, just because it's Lacey Evans. I'm not a fan of hers because of lately her opinions she has shared on Twitter. However, also they talked about the sole of her boot the whole entire match.
And Wade Barrett being like, well, obviously those aren't military.
Yeah, but that's the thing, though. Even they would rather talk about the mess up that happened than the actual match. Because as much as I don't want to say it, separate the performer from the person, he performed well. Like, I like this iteration of her character better.
Yeah. I just
she
don't
was more
care.
hard hitting. She, definitely put more hurt on her. I like the fact that the women's right isn't a finisher. It's the setup. And it does look like she knocked the hell out of that girl.
It did look like she smacked the shit out of that girl.
And the way she puts on the Cobra Clutch is a little different because she more puts the arm over the face rather than underneath. And
she does it down, and then she put them. They were sitting down, and she stood her up with that.
Yeah.
So I'll give you that. I don't care.
Yeah, but that to me, that's the thing, is I'm still not going to get behind her.
No.
Because the commentary talked about the sole of her boot, and that was more interesting than them talking about her.
I agree.
Sorry for you. She got on the mic after. She said she was going to be in the Rumble. She was going to take her biceps and her arms and her nose and her ear hair. I don't know what else she's going to bring with her. And she's
Wow.
going to win the Rumble. She's apparently going to put the Cobra Clutch on 29 of the women, which is a horrible idea because if you choke
It's
them
not
out,
going
then
to
you got to
work.
pick them up and throw them out.
Then they're dead weight.
But she demanded that the fans stand up and salute her, stealing another thing from Sergeant Slaughter. All she needed to do was say salute to the flag instead.
Has he commented beyond the camel when somebody said something about the camel clutch and he said who?
No, so before that he had tweeted that he would not have a problem coming back and being her manager.
Oh, okay.
So I don't know. Kayla Braxton spoke with Drew McIntyre and Sheamus, and they were praising each other, saying that they could see each other winning the match.
And smacking the shit out of
each other while they're doing it. They did that bit, obviously hitting each other, kind of rallying each other up. They did turn their attention to the semifinals, though, towards the end of it, saying that they were going to win this thing. We found out that was a lie. Maury Povich should have been part of this.
And has determined that was a lie.
Then we got a video package recap of Cody Rhodes and his injury and his upcoming return at the Rumble. Just kind of a rehash of what we've already seen. So, just typing
it's
it
like
more.
This has taken place of the Royal Rumble by the numbers. It's Cody's video that they showed 84 times.
Yep. Which is a little preview for our next video. That is my pick for the Royal Rumble because it's the road to WrestleMania. It just writes itself. You know they're gonna do it.
And I quit.
So we got the first semifinals match of the evening, or at least we thought we were going to. Drew McIntyre and Sheamus versus Hit Row. Hit Row comes out after Sheamus and McIntyre get attacked by the Raiders. They came out there and gave them a hell of a beatdown. You said it yourself. This is the Raiders we've been waiting for. Like, just went out there and just tore them up.
They beat the piss out of both of them, and this is like we've talked about with the Viking Raiders, the War Machine before. This is what they should have been doing. This right here, this beatdown, it should have been their return.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's how their return should have been done, at least. Whenever you did it, and this should have been all they do is just beat the dog piss out of people.
Yeah, I mean they're Vikings. Why do they care about the rules? So as we come back from commercial, we found out that McIntyre and Sheamus ran to the back to take care of them. They basically forfeited their spot, which made me extremely happy. And this is kind of one of those moments where the Triple H giveth and the Triple H taketh away, because I thought Hit Row's just going to get a bye in this, but then we found out that's not going to happen because Pierce came out and he said, no, we're not going to give you a spot in the finals. You're going to have to earn that. You're going to go against a mystery team, and here it is. I was hoping New Day would come back out. No, we got Braun Strowman and Ricochet, or as I like to call them right now, we call them the Twins Part 2, Electric Boogaloo, because they just, I mean, it looks like you just shrunk Braun Strowman in the wash. And this is
Twins 2.0.
Power Twins Unite. I don't know, something. But the Wonder Twins. But so they come out, and I mean, they essentially just waylay for the most part. The only really offense that Hit Row got is B-Fab distracted Ricochet, and so then they got the upper hand. But once Ricochet tagged Braun Strowman, he came in and just tore everybody apart.
This was so stupid.
Yeah. Well, and
it was just stupid. Like,
I was happy at first because, like, with the standings that was there, it was obvious who was going to win it. Like, it was going to be Sheamus and Drew. That's what it was going to come down to. Sonic, by God. With it taking them out, I'm like, oh, okay. Well, now we actually have, like, an interesting matchup here. I don't know who's going to win going forward in this thing. And then as soon as they came out, I'm like, oh, that's who's going to win. Okay. Because they're not losing. That's not happening. So yeah, they beat them in 5 minutes and 54 seconds. Pretty much a squash match. Wade Barrett, making more sense than anybody in the world right now, correctly pointed out that Pierce wouldn't let Hit Row advance to the finals in a bye, but they just let Strowman and Ricochet get a spot in the semifinals without doing any bit of work. You know. And Cole still mentioned the botch. I don't know what his deal is with it, but he mentioned
he will not let this go.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know if they're using it as the reason that Hit Row's being heelish, but it's stupid.
I think they are because again, they got distracted talking crap to Michael Cole.
Yeah,
and I mean, we're almost in a situation where we have like the coal miners box, but it's the face version instead of the heel version.
Please no, please never again. Please, please no. That was so bad.
Yeah. So this is where Caleb Braxton spoke with Kevin Owens. Owens promised to right the wrong from 2 years ago. He's going to take out as many members of the bloodline before tomorrow as possible to make sure that he can win and become the World Heavyweight Champion. The Usos approached and they argued. Adam Pearce threw the Usos out of the arena. As we're back from break and the Usos are leaving, Jay was on the phone with somebody, which we could just presume was Sami Zayn because he started off with my dog, and that's the only person he calls my dog. So, and says, "I need a favor."
Yeah. I'm really starting to wonder if they're not going to just break up the bloodline, because this will be twice now that Jay has basically gone against what Roman said.
Mm-hmm. Well,
so are we?
It's either they're going to break it up or this entire time Jay has still not been behind Sami and he's just been setting him up the entire time. So.
But then you would think he would have just let him get hit. So I just that, or are we going to get Jay versus Roman for the leadership?
I think, yeah. I mean, I wouldn't mind him having a shot at the title again, just cause. We leave that and go to a LA Knight Bray Wyatt segment. Started off kind of fun because we heard the old Bray theme, which immediately made me think of the Bray interview from earlier, where he said like the Hawaiian shirt, Bray Wyatt is dead and the Fiend is dead, and so then I hear this theme, I'm like, what's going on? But then immediately you see, and it's LA Knight dressed as old Bray.
I do want to say, referencing that interview, the reason Bray gave for that version of Bray Wyatt being dead was because Brody's gone.
Yeah.
He said it wouldn't be right to do it again. And I thought that was an amazing reason to say, we're not going to do that character again because one of the biggest parts of that character isn't with us anymore.
Yep. I don't disagree. I think it's a perfect reason to close that door.
Absolutely.
And I agree with him. Like that semblance or excuse me, that version of Bray, it was all about the family. And the main person, the first person, aside from Eli Cottonwood when it was in its infancy, was Luke. Like Luke Harper,
Yeah.
Brody was the first guy.
Yeah.
And so to go back to that would almost seem sacrilegious.
The only way I'd be okay with even touching it is if you bring in Rowan.
Yeah.
And that, even if you just did it as a one-off or a short term, to do it as a remembrance of Brody, I'd be good with that.
Yeah.
Have Harper come out and do some of the mannerisms that have Rowan come out and do some of the mannerisms that Harper did. I'd be okay with that.
Yeah.
But I agree that you don't need to bring that back because of that tie-in. I was completely on board with that answer. I was like, that is such a good answer.
Yeah, it makes perfect sense.
Absolutely.
So we get him coming down. As soon as he gets in the ring, he tears off all the Bray Wyatt gear to show his basic font PowerPoint shirt that he's got on. So
his Kinko shirt.
It's Kinko shirt. That's right. So he he mocks Bray, says the fans were chanting for him. Says that they were all saying "talk to me" when they were chanting. There was a slight LA Knight chant going on, very slight, but
I think the fans are very confused on what to do with him.
Yeah. It's one of those, like, I don't mind him being the first rung on Bray coming back, but LA Knight is one of those where he's not going to be a heel for long because he's super entertaining. He's got all of his mannerisms, he's got all of his catchphrases, and even tonight, him saying "yeah," the crowd was saying "yeah" with him.
And so he did it again, and they did it again, and he's like, "Shut up when I'm talking," basically. And I'm like, "You're walking him into this. You're not. You can't get. It doesn't make sense for the heel character to keep doing that with him, and then admonish him for it. Like, you should have just the first time been like, "Hey, shut up.
Yeah,
I'm talking."
Well, it's like when the fans used to start chanting with Rock when he would do the if you smell, and he would stop and he would go, "Hey, this isn't sing along with the Rock,"
right?
And then he'd finish it out, stopping it right at the door.
So I agree. I don't think he stays here long. I think they've dragged this out way too long.
Well, and I agree. I think the whole point was they were trying to get to this, whatever this match is going to be, which we still don't know.
We still don't even have the specifics of. They'll probably announce them during the match. Yeah. Oh yeah, here's this wrinkle. Oh wait, here's this wrinkle.
Yeah. I mean, at least we know that we're not going to see old versions of Bray, so it won't be that kind of thing.
Right.
So at least we know that.
And I'm sure at some point they'll wrestle in a room full of rats or something stupid because we don't know what's happening. But I feel like they have dragged this out way too long. From his return to now, we haven't had a single Bray Wyatt match.
Mm-hmm. Not on TV. He's had a couple of house show matches,
but he came back in what, like the end of November?
Mm-hmm.
Was it?
Yeah, that sounds right.
Let's see if I can do this again without closing out the window.
While you're looking at that real quick,
keep going.
So he told Wyatt every piece of advice Undertaker whispered to him on Monday in the Pitch Black match.
It was October 8th.
Okay.
4 months ago.
Yeah, and we haven't had a single match yet.
No. I just... Again, what are we doing? I have less of an issue with this one than I do the Karrion Kross.
Yeah.
But what are we doing? 4 months?
Yeah. Well, and if you remember right, like we were already having some issues because of how long this was going, not just without a match, but without any movement. It was just Bray coming out there and talking.
Feel like we haven't gotten any. This feud has been going on for 2 months. We haven't had a match of any kind, and now we're just going to go to what's probably going to be a cinematic or a very messed with match.
Yeah.
And 4 months?
Yeah.
Like, I,
I agree. It's just one of those though. Like I'm gonna wait till we see the match. Let's see what happens. Maybe it'll be massively entertaining, and maybe it'll make us forget the fact that it took this long. But yeah, I mean, looking at the numbers, looking at the dates, it's a long time to have something go
yeah,
on and not really have a lot of movement in it. Um, but so he's talking about that. Bray Wyatt appeared on the ramp to a big pop.
he
Um,
just kind of appeared out of nowhere too, which was kind
yeah,
of cool.
it was kind of cool. It just kind of as a dad, I got to throw this part out there. So I'm watching this, and my daughter Kai is next to me, and she goes, "How did he get there?" I'm like, they just brought him out, honey. Like that's so. Is there
He
people
he
that saw it?
phased, teleported in from the Starship Enterprise, and then they're just going to teleport him back out.
He's up there with Chris Statlander. It's okay. Um,
Right. I'm going to turn off the camera for a second because I got to blow my nose.
okay. Um, but so he comes out there. He told Knight to enjoy himself. He knows he's having fun with this. Keep wearing your costumes. Keep playing with this. Keep having fun. Because tomorrow it all ends. Then at that point, up in the crowd, Uncle Howdy appeared and made some hand gestures like he does. And then there was content from Bray. There was confusion from LA Knight. I think we still don't know exactly what the Uncle Howdy of it is. Um, in that interview we were talking about earlier, he kind of talked a little bit about Uncle Howdy and that whole program, and he
Okay.
just said simply, "There's even more to it than you think there is." So,
So my hand gesture for the Uncle Howdy thing. What are we doing again? What are we doing?
yeah. Well,
I just
you always have payoffs at pay-per-views, so
and
let's.
I get that, and it's Bray, and I have a lot of leeway with Bray Wyatt.
Mhm.
I wasn't a big fan of the Firefly Funhouse. I wasn't a big fan of the Fiend, but he made it entertaining.
Yeah.
This has not been very minimally entertaining. Like I said, what are we doing?
Yeah. Um, well, again, what I'm going to do is I'm going to move on to the next match. An interesting situation because I just talked about in the last episode that we recorded that to me heel doesn't work very well, and this is kind of one of those situations where I'm talking about because it was quite obvious that the fans were behind Legato in this match. Like
Yeah.
they aren't faces, but they definitely liked them better than Imperium.
Well, that's the best way to say this. Where they were, I think, was part of that.
Yeah, very well could be.
Deep South Texas, very heavy Latino population.
Yeah,
Makes sense.
that would certainly make sense. So we have Imperium going against Legado del Fantasma. This was a really good match. Cruz del Toro kind of had a very good shining moment. Joaquin was getting beat down pretty good. He was able to finally get the tag. Del Toro came in and basically just cleared house. Um, it unfortunately though ended up being a night for the Germans. The finish came when Vinci gave Wild a press slam off the top, which was really impressive. Vinci appeared to legit injure his knee, but he fought through that pain. Imperium hit the Imperium Bomb for the win. All game we're done. Hopefully Vinci's okay. Not just because now that they've won the tournament, they gotta go on in the tournament.
Yeah, I wondered about that if it's a legit injury.
Yeah.
And if it is, you got to put Delgado back in because that's not going to be a good match.
Yeah.
You're just going to randomly throw Sheamus and Drew back in
Yeah.
because that's not going to make any sense.
Um,
You're going to make it the Raiders because that doesn't make any sense either.
you know what? Freebird it and just put Walter in there.
I mean, I see the New Day started it and I'm here for it.
Mm-hmm.
Right, I'm a huge fan of the Freebird rule with a group like this.
Yeah. Now, don't get me wrong.
But yeah,
they could throw New Day in that. I'd be fine with that too.
Right. This was a really good match. Like these guys had a really, really good match between the four of them.
They showed another Royal Rumble video package. They also showed that apparently Charlotte was off doing an interview, and Sonya Deville just kind of showed up and ran her mouth. This led to Charlotte approaching Adam Pearce backstage in his office. She demanded a match with Deville and said that she was willing to put the title on the line. So Pearce agreed, and they moved on with that. So
For
apparently,
next week, though, why did we not? Why didn't they do it tomorrow? Again,
because they didn't want their match to be cut. So this leads to
it's
Kevin.
a Monday Night Raw. It's not a problem.
It's also not a WrestleMania, so they can't cut it. Kevin Owens versus Solo Sikoa started up next. Owens and Sikoa just beating the shit out of each other.
Yeah, they did.
So they traded punches and they traded shoulder tackles until Owens hit a senton. Sikoa regrouped at ringside and set Owens into the barricade. This was just a fight to end all fights.
It was a good. They both looked really good.
Yeah. What ended up though is so apparently the favor that Jay was asking for was for Owens to come in and help Solo. Sammy, excuse me, come back and help Solo. And so he gets in there. He's trying to help them. They're all three outside the ring, and he's trying to help Solo by distracting Kevin. What ends up happening though is he ends up hitting a flush super kick in the face.
He ate that super kick too.
In which case Kevin took back over, got him in the ring, ended with Owens on top. So that
was there an actual pin?
I don't think there was a pin.
I think they just kind of threw it out once Sammy got involved.
Yeah, I mean they kind of threw out the match. Kevin Owens
he hit that pop-up powerbomb on the table, and the table didn't break, and I bet that hurt like a bitch.
I'll betcha. But he kind of gets the moral win on this, depending on what the storyline's going to be, because now Sammy has messed up another thing, and he showed up.
And Kevin said, "This is what they're going to do to you.
Mm-hmm.
This is how they're going to treat you."
Yep.
So tomorrow should be. I'm really interested in the Rumble, if nothing else, for the Bloodline storyline.
Yeah. If nothing else, that's going to be a big proponent of the night, a big thing to watch during the night, because you've got the Rumble, which is going to have some of that in it. You're going to have, of course, the Roman match, which is going to have a lot of that in it. Like, that's going to be the story of the night to see what happens. I mean, hell, even just like some of the other matches, I'm going to watch because I'm going to enjoy it, but like I'm not invested in anything else other than that right now.
I'm kind of looking forward to Bianca Alexa. I'm curious.
Yeah,
I've got a decent level of curiosity here. What else do we have? Well,
of course we have the two.
The two Rumbles.
Yeah, we have the two Rumbles. We got it pulled up here.
Bianca Alexa.
We got Bray Wyatt, LA Knight. We got the
Bray Wyatt, LA Knight, and then Roman
Kevin. And then the two Rumble matches. That's it currently.
They'll probably keep it that way.
Yeah. It does make me sad they've kind of gone away from pre-show matches. Put some of the undercard stuff in.
I agree. And people throw a fit about some of those, and I'm like, I'm fine with certain title matches on the pre-show if the card is that stacked.
Mm-hmm.
Because there was a time when the cards were so stacked, they'd have like the tag titles on the pre-show because the card was just that stacked.
Well, and even if it's not a stacked show, and even if the matches aren't competitive ones, just having something to ease you into the night. I think about this. All right, so you've got Gunther, who has the Intercontinental title. Have him go up against a Madcap. Like, Madcap's not winning, but it's also not going to be a squash match. He's going to get some stuff in. It's going to be slightly competitive, but it's somewhere in between competitive match and squash match. It's somewhere in between there. Even if it's that kind of match, I'm fine with it. It just gives me something to ease into the night.
Yeah.
But it's definitely going to be a good time. If even when the shows themselves aren't 100% great. The pay-per-views always knock it out of the park.
That's true.
Definitely more good than bad in most cases.
Well, and we got 2 Rumble matches, which are always fun.
Yeah.
So,
And ones that, quite frankly, like one of them is hard for me to tell what's gonna happen. The men's, to me, you can go one of a couple of ways, and that's really it. The
there's
women's,
about the men's has 6 or 8 people in it that them winning makes sense.
I see. I wouldn't even say that many. I've got 2 in my head that they're winning one or the other, depending on what happens in the night.
Well, if you want to know how this turns out, follow up with us on our Royal Rumble preview show.
That's right. And then we'll also have a Royal Rumble review show. I don't know when that one's happening because we have to watch the Royal Rumble, then review the Royal Rumble, and then we still have Monday Night Raw that we're going to. So,
and we will be at Monday Night Raw.
That's right.
Right here in Tulsa, Oklahoma.
Right here on YouTube. If you've enjoyed this episode, share this video, share our channel, hit us up on all the socials down below. Our TikTok's been going crazy lately, so definitely join that. A lot of fun stuff there. Actually, I think we might record some more of that this weekend and get some of that out there. I've got to come up with some new jokes, though. But yeah, hit us up on all the socials if you want to catch our lexicon or back catalog of what we got here going. You can do that right here on YouTube at Kicking At It Too. I am Mike. This is Tori, and we will catch you on the next one. Bye.